This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is President and CEO of Leading Edge Materials, Mr. Blair Way. Blair, how are you this afternoon?
Hi, Gerardo. Great to catch up again.
Morning in your neck of the woods, correct?
That's true. It's a cool morning, but all good.
Listen, it's been several weeks since you and I caught up. Lots to talk about. You've made some progress with your exploration alliance in Romania. I know it's early days there, and I know that you can only say so much, but you've also had some progress on the graphite front. So I'd like to start with Romania, talk about what you can talk about there, and then I'd love to get your insight as to the latest news from the Woxna Graphite project in Sweden.
For sure. Certainly, Romania is a very exciting prospect for us. And as our press releases have detailed, we've moved into where we actually have our agreement in place. So we're a 51% owner of a Romanian company now with the opportunity to earn in up to 90%. And that work will involve activities on the ground, looking at historic information, and then taking the next steps after finding that information. And part of those steps are also establishing an exploration permit, assuming it warrants, and that will give us tenure on the ground. And that's one of the reasons we've been a little coy or cautious in the information we disclose. At present, the land that we are accessing is not secure from a tenure point of view, but we're very confident that we can move forward through that process, and we'll eventually have that security tenure. But the prospect is extremely exciting to us, and we're really looking forward to quite literally digging in and getting a clear understanding of what we have in front of us.
Well, I know the due diligence the company and the board does. You have a world-class rare earth asset, frankly, a couple. You have the Woxna Graphite mine, which of course is fully constructed. It's permitted. You have all the processing, waste management, and infrastructure in place. And so if it's taken this long for you to legitimize the agreement with the Romanian company, and you're this cagey about wanting to talk about it, I'll respect the privacy and hope that in a month or a couple of months' time we can talk about it. I'm sure that'll be worth the wait. Let's pivot to graphite. You had some recent results out of Woxna. Can we talk about the status there and what we can look forward to here the rest of the year? It's been a tough summer for most junior resource companies. Leading Edge, not an exception, but a lot to look forward to.
For sure. I mean, the graphite work has always been something we've been beavering away at, and we report on it as we feel it's appropriate for investors. So over the summer, we've had a number of initiatives underway with regards to helping us better understand and define the equipment that ultimately we would need for a demonstration plant so we can produce these larger quantities of value-added material. Obviously, the Woxna plant can produce the large quantities of flotation graphite, which is your mid-90s concentrate. Our customers or potential customers that we're speaking to are looking for larger samples. And as these customers develop their anode chemistry, we need to be able to provide them hundreds of kilos in order to do that. So the results of the work that we've been doing over the summer and prior to that in spring are starting to feed through, and we'll have more to follow, but that's on the spheronizing initiatives where we've taken some of our spheronizing work, and being internally, we need to be confident that the equipment we spec can enable us to produce the products to the specification the customers are asking for. They're all a little bit different. Within parameters, we need to be able to demonstrate that internally and then externally to our customers. Same with the thermal purification. We want to understand as much as we can about that process, because not only will the thermal purification help for our value-added battery materials, but also the byproducts that are a result of producing our spheronized graphite. There's a fine proportion of material that's produced that's not suitable for batteries, but by being able to purify that creates additional markets for our materials. Some of those markets actually may be out there now and not necessarily in super large quantities, but it does enable us to also provide samples to those types of customers, and that helps us better prepare and plan for our the economics of producing our flotation graphite, converting it into battery graphite, and also converting the byproduct into a sellable and more valuable product. So it's an exciting time for the Woxna Graphite project, because we are getting so close to where we can produce these large, meaningful samples and actually get better clarity with some of these customers as they start to ramp up their businesses and are targeting building batteries in the next 12 to 24 months. And those are the sort of discussions that we are entertaining in parallel to the work that we're doing on the ground at Woxna.
And just to be clear, Blair, the end game there is to be able to deliver market-ready lithium-ion battery anode. Is that correct?
That's correct. Obviously, the anode is the actual copper coated with the anode material, the graphite compound, which is made with both natural and synthetic and a few other additives. So yes, we're targeting preparing that anode material as required for each customer. Some of the customers will have slightly different specifications, but that's our target. Yes, a fully value-added anode material. We are looking at some of the coating technology, but those usually are more specific to the particular battery customer. So we'll work with those customers to ensure we can meet those requirements further down the track.
In your Woxna facility, it was granted an extension last year, right? That gives you an operating license until what, 2041?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's a good vote of confidence from our perspective that the regulator is happy with the operation the way we've run it today. Obviously, it's pretty scaled down activity because we only operate it as required. But part of that is also maintaining our ongoing environmental compliances and work, community relations and those sort of things. So yeah, we're pretty happy to have that security in our license. And obviously, as our customers come on stream, that puts us in a very strong position to be able to react quickly and clearly to those reactions. As the customers' demands go up, we can ramp our production in parallel. We have to be careful not to be standing on the side of the road with a whole bunch of material we can't sell, but equally we don't really want a customer standing on the side of the road looking for the material that they can't find. So it's definitely an alignment that we have to ensure we maintain.
Well, I know the Northvolt project is something that's picking up steam. They're being very selective about the commodities they source, but there's been a couple of deals recently announced that kind of lead me to believe that they're finally starting to come to the table and actually put pencil to paper and sign some contracts. So that has to bode well, being that there's not another junior in the space that's as advanced as leading edge materials. When can we expect a decision in regards to the demonstration plant?
Well, I know Northvolt has a lot on their plate, and they've certainly been working with Nemaska and have signed them on board for lithium. And lithium is clearly one of the more difficult commodities for them to get their hands on. So that's been a priority from my understanding with them. They've also broken ground and actually done construction on their demonstration plant. So they have a lot of moving parts in their business, but as that plant, their demonstration plant starts to ramp up, that's our first sort of opportunity to actually present them some of the materials that they're going to need for their anode. And as they develop their anode chemistry, we are confident that we can be part of that process. And we have regular discussions with them, and it really is a timing. And I guess, unfortunately or sadly for us, graphite's a little further down their priority list compared to, say, lithium, but it's understandable. Cobalt will also come into play for them, so hopefully there's an opportunity there as well. But we have a good relationship with them. We continue discussions and are optimistic in the future. We'll have more to talk about on that front.
Blair, I look forward to having you back on. Thank you again for the update. It was necessary and timely. I know the summer doldrums, as I mentioned up top, have been tough on almost everybody. We're almost past that. Labor Day is right around the corner, and it should be an exciting last few months of the year here.
For sure. It's a shame to be hoping for the end of summer, but from our perspective and a market perspective, it will be good to see the end of summer and Labor Day. Everyone gets back to school, back to work, and we can look to maybe catch up after Labor Day, and we can talk further as we've had a number of initiatives on the ground with regard to the company, and look forward to be able to share some of that in September.
Sounds good, Blair. I'll hold you to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Gerardo. Always great to catch up.